Of course, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a free 24-hour TV. Of course, I know it has been long without seeing you people. Welcome back to the show. And if you're joining me for the first time, ensure that you subscribe to a free 24-hour TV for joining me for the first time. And if you've joined me or you've subscribed already, kindly ensure that you like this video and share with your friends so that we can be able to watch together. It's indeed another day that I have this opportunity to meet in this live talk show. A lot is happening in the country, a lot is happening in the political world, a lot is happening in our social welfare, and of course in our economic sphere. Today or did we saw a certain there was a meeting, there is a forum in Kenya that was discussing things to deal with the fertilizer, and of course you guys had an opportunity to watch what took place in the country today, whereby we had several African heads of state who converted the KICC for a certain fertilizer conference, something like that. And by the time that this one was happening, we are also having the cabinet secretary of agriculture, that is the CS Minthika Linturi, undergoing through an impeachment process with the select committee of the National Assembly for having supplied or for having approved the supply of fake fertilizers. So that is, I don't know if it was coincidence. And among other things that we're going to look at, remember that today is Thursday, and the schools had been postponed. The school reopening was postponed. They postponed it by 1 week. Then, when the week elapsed, the government extended it till further notice. But till further notice elapsed, it's elapsing on Sunday. So on Monday, all the schools are expected to resume, and learning is expected to resume on Monday, though there are some measures that the government has said that need to be put in place to ensure that as children or as learners are going to resume, uh, the learning is not going to be interrupted. Remember, we've been having floods, and apart from having floods, after this heavy rain, we are going to be affected by some waterborne diseases. Already, we are having some cases of cholera. I think 48 cases have been reported so far, and the schools are also going to be opened, and some of these places are still flooded. So it's a matter of let us wait and see what is going to happen. And in the political sphere, we're also going to look at what is happening. There's something that is happening in ODM. Yesterday, we saw some ODM members getting, do I say suspended, or yeah, getting expelled, not suspended, but they got expelled from the party. And this is what happened to MP Mark Nyamita, who was expelled from the party, and the ODM party said that they are disassociating themselves with Mark Nyamita, whom they accused of working closely with UDA to destabilize the government of Ochilo Ayacko, and to destabilize and demean the leadership of ODM party. Of course, we are going to weigh on that. Apart from that, we are also looking at the other day, the dream of Raila becoming the AU Commission chair was almost fading when we saw some members of the Organization of Islamic Commission uh, endorsing the Somalian candidature. But today things uh, changed, and things are getting different day by day. During today's meeting, whereby we had several heads of states in Africa, there was a lot of lobbying that made Somalia to say that they're now going to stand with Nairobi, and they're now going to stand with Kenya. They're now going to support the Kenyan candidate, that is retired former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Those, among other things, are what are going to form the basis of today's discussion. Of course, we're going to look at Raila's AU bid being boosted after the lobbying that even happened today at the KICC, a meeting where Raila himself was present. We're also going to look at ODM expelling the rebels, and why are they being expelled? If they're being uh, accused of working closely with William Ruto, with the UDA, then why can't ODM expel their party leader, who is evidently working with the ruling party. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at the schools reopening on Monday. Why is it necessary for schools to reopen, or should schools wait a bit so that the floods, or maybe so that the rains can maybe get low or reduce, so that they can be able to go to school when everything is in order. We're going to look at that, and of course, we're also going to take you through the Minthika Linturi's impeachment debate, or the impeachment process that is undergoing in the National Assembly. So, welcome to today's show. If you're joining you for the first time, I said you start by subscribing to Afrique 24-hour TV. Ensure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. This is Afrique TV, the channel that connects you with African stories. You can also join me in this conversation. You can join me in studio using the link that I've shared on the comment section. Alternatively, you can also use the comment section to let me know where you're joining me from, your views, your questions, and even your contribution. So let me play for you some short videos just to remind you of some of the things that have happened. I've told you that after this heavy rain, the World Health Organization are predicting
to a spike in cases of cholera. At least 250 people have died since heavy rains began lashing East Africa in March. But on top of those who've lost their lives in flood-related disasters, at least 44 cases of cholera have been recently reported. Our Olivia Bizu tells us more.
44 cases of cholera have been identified in the Tana River County in the eastern part of Kenya. That's where the worst effects of She also warned that it's not just the spread of cholera that is concerning, but that other diseases could also spread as well, including malaria, for example, asthma. That's because of these floods. And now the worst, the areas, in Kenya that are being the worst affected and they're at the highest risk of cholera is in informal settlements across the country's urban areas. Earlier this week, I was in Nairobi's informal settlement of Kibera, and a lot of people that I spoke to there talked to me about their fears of diseases like cholera spreading.
Staying with the unrelenting floods, an aerial view of the devastating effects of the ongoing.
Right. I think you've seen that is what has happened, or that is what is likely to happen immediately after the flood. It was expected. Yeah, people expected it that immediately after the floods, it's likely that Kenya, uh, or maybe these places that have been flooded, they are going to experience some waterborne diseases. Already, some of the places have started reporting or recording the cholera cases. We are going to have also things like bilharzia. So that's the question that we're asking: that is it the right time that we need to reopen schools, or there are measures that need to be done? And of course, we're glad that even as schools are going to be reopened and people speculate that they're going to have things like cholera and such, we are happy that the doctors are back to work. And at least it would really be sad if maybe the doctors are still in strike and you're going to have these waterborne diseases that are as an effect or aftermath of maybe the flooding that has been experienced in parts of the country. So we are glad to report that even the doctors decided to sign a return to work a formula with the government, and they'll soon, or not this soon, they've already gone back and reported to their work. The CBA that was signed in 2017 is going to be implemented and they had some agreements on how it is going to be implemented, and something to do with the interns. I think because there is a case in court, the issue will have to be looked into after 60 days. I just want to take you, maybe for the people who are not aware, that the doctors down decided to return back to work.
Justice
I
must
just
be
play
done and
you a
must be
video
done now.
of what happened yesterday.
And so from the document that we had a very long meeting today with our National Advisory Council, that is the highest decision-making organ. And they endorsed that we signed this particular return to work formula today so that it can pave way for the doctors to resume work within 24 hours from now. And that means the strike that began on 13th of March 2024 has been called off. The government has insisted to us that they are different government, there are different persons in office, that we need to believe in them, that they're not conmen. And therefore, we have decided that despite having said and stated that we do not go home with promissory notes, we have decided to take the promise for the last time. But as we take this, I must say that one,
So sorry for that, but I hope you people did manage to get that. That was just news of what happened yesterday. Dr. Kenyans cannot hide their happiness, and we thank the government, the Ministry of Health, and the doctors or union representatives for having agreed on a return to work formula, something that is going to see our patients being attended to. That is really positive. And the school is also resuming on Monday. So I don't know, what is your take on that? You can use the comment section there and let me know how you feel about it. The schools are going to reopen on Monday. Besides that, what is happening and what is taking place in the country right now? There is an impeachment process that is taking place, and most people are requesting Mintika Linturi to do an honorable thing so that he can be able to resign before he gets impeached. I just want us to get some of the comments from the politicians regarding that, or maybe from different Kenyans regarding that, so that we can be able to know his fate.
I don't want to criticize parliamentary procedure, but hear me on this. Hear me on this one. Kama Linturi amekuwa impeached, I find it very strange. And it goes against the concept of supremacy of parliament itself. Kwamba now that decision by 149 members of parliament has now to go to a committee for verification. That is, so Linturi, kwa heshima yako na heshima ya nchi, ujiondoe mapema. Lakini pia, mkiona ile inaitwa duck, when it moves like a duck, it quicks like a duck, hii lazima hii kitu ni, yani kama waziri wako ananuka kiasi hicho, ndio tunasema sisi kama wana Azimio, we have been saying it. Tumesema na tukasema hatutawaachilia hapo mpaka wote watimuliwe mamlakani. Kwa kuongoza nchi vibaya, kuleta majanga, of course majanga hawezi kuwa ndio wanaleta, lakini wanachangia pakubwa kwa kutoelewana. Ukielekea Nairobi kwa mfano, huku Gachagua anapeleka chakula, anataka kuangusha sijui governor Sakaja, sijui nini hiyo, anarudi maajabu, competition, when we should all be collaborating together.
Yeah, that was the sentiment of Kalonzo Musyoka to Mintika Linturi, who is facing an impeachment motion that had already been tabled in Parliament, and now the committee is just confirming and going through the legal process to ensure that everything is right before they proceed with either impeaching him or reinstating him. as the CS agriculture. And remember that one happened as today we also had a certain fertilizer summit taking place in KICC. Of course, I'll be able to give you the updates of what took place. I also still want to give you a voice note of Kalonzo, who also talked on the issue of the striking doctors, but we thank God that the government was able to come into an agreement and sign what is called a return to work formula.
What we're basically saying is, can this matter come to an end? As a result of these floods, waterborne diseases are now, we've seen the headlines in the major newspapers today, problem with cholera in Tana River County and elsewhere, everywhere. Now with the doctors on strike, what else can this be other than disastrous? On the critical matter of General Ogola's death, we demand for a parliamentary select committee immediately. On April the 18th, 2024, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Francis Omondi Ogola, lost his life in the course of duty. Excuse me. Together with 9 other gallant officers of KDF. We note with concern that the Kenya Kwanza regime has moved on swiftly, leaving the families of the departed soldiers with no help. They also are yet to establish a time-bound public inquiry into the cause of the chopper crash. We reiterate our earlier demands of securing the services of independent and international experts or investigators who will get to the bottom of this matter.
And that was Stephen Kalonzo. I think you did get that event when he was giving a press conference. And they tackled, among other, they tackled so many things. So I want us to start with this impeachment motion. And my question is, do you think that the committee, the select committee that is investigating or that is undertaking Minthika through the impeachment process, do you think that they are going to find him guilty and initiate his impeachment, or this is just a process in fatality and we are going to see Linturi back as the CS agriculture? That's the question that most Kenyans are asking. And funny enough that as this impeachment process was taking place, in Nairobi, KICC, there was what was called the Fertilizer and Soil Summit, and I just want to take you through some of the things that happened, and you can be able to get the speech that was given by the President William Ruto in the same summit. Then from that, we'll be able to proceed
to working with you on this very important subject that has brought us here. It is an honor for me to be here on the beginning of this pivotal summit, which emphatically revisits a historic moment of Africa's green revolution ambition with a focus on soil health and especially the use of fertilizer. Today, Africa remains heavily reliant on food imports, highlighting the limited progress achieved decades after the Abuja Declaration. Clearly, we have very important issues to reflect upon and resolve as a matter of urgency, and this summit offers us a perfect opportunity for this engagement. Across Africa, our people face numerous serious challenges that hinder their efforts and investment in enhancing agricultural opportunities and productivity. These include the inadequate fertilizer application, extreme weather adversities, flooding on one end, as we are witnessing in East Africa, drought, as we are witnessing in South Africa, and extensive land degradation, among others. All this point to a broader issue of poor soil health, which is central to our conversation in this summit. Recent global economic crisis that we all understand, including the serious economic issues and challenges that most countries face, compounded by supply chain disruptions from the COVID-19 pandemic, and of course, the geopolitical dynamics, including the war in the middle of Europe, have worsened fertilizer affordability and availability, and disrupted agriculture and agricultural production, resulting in reduced acreage that is currently under crop, and also reducing food security availability. This summit presents an opportunity to collectively deliberate and sustain our ambition by converting challenges into opportunities. To achieve this, we must assess our current situation within the broader context of our African potential. Speaking specifically to this summit is important because it speaks to soil health and fertilizer. Three things are very important. Number one, soil health and fertilizer is important because Africa has 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. That potential is immense. And unlocking that potential is central to our economic growth. Because unlocking that potential not only gives us an opportunity to feed our people and this continent, but also it gives us an opportunity for us to engage in agro-processing, value addition with agro-based raw materials. Shortly, we will be having a conversation, for example, with the United States on the subject of AGOA. AGOA is primarily based on our export to the United States, a majority of which are agro-based. And therefore, agricultural productivity is central to our economic progress. Agricultural productivity influenced to a great extent in the produce of adequate fertilizer that are crop specific, that will enhance productivity and therefore build a case for our economic progress. Central to that is that Africa is a growing market, a market of 1.4 billion. By 2050, a quarter of the world's population will be living here. And therefore, it is important for us to use the assets we have. And among the assets we have is our agricultural potential. It is therefore important meeting for us to address fertilizability, production of fertilizer using locally available raw materials in our country, making sure that this fertilizer enhances our agriculture, because lies the opportunity for us to live in dignity, have food security, also create jobs and opportunities for our young people using our agro-processing, agricultural-based raw materials and using it for industrialization, and using our big market to make sure that we drive our own progress. In our pursuit of the evolution, it is crucial to note that Africa is the largest agricultural potential. And yet, we operate far below agricultural full capacity. This potential underscores our ability and obligation to transform Africa from a hungry continent into a self-sufficient global bread basket. Additionally, fluctuating fertilizers and supply chain exacerbated by conflict is reducing, especially the producing regions, Russia, Ukraine, and the whole of that space, demand deep reflection on how we secure adequate, affordable, and fertilizer and supply across Africa. In the face of prevailing challenges, achieving sustainable development goal number 2, ending hunger, ensuring security, improving and promoting sustainable agriculture must be unwavering. This commitment resonates boldly our Agenda 26, where we pursue agricultural revolution through sustainable agricultural practices. Focus should not only be on increasing fertilizer, but also ensuring its judicious
My question is that like will submit basically to and maybe just wait a bit. Want to look at in really honest and sincere about this thing called agriculture. Because right, you can see what is happening. We are having our cabinet, the cabinet who is in charge of agriculture, that is facing charges of approving the supply of fake fertilizers. And yet today you're having what is called the fertilizer summit. So I just want to say that it's so coincident that as this one was taking place in KICC, and another committee was having some impeachment process taking place, whereby the cabinet secretary of agriculture through the National Cereals Board approved the supply of fertilizers that were later found to be fake or were later found to be substandard. What is your take on that? I said you can proceed and engage me through the comment section, and if you're joining me for the first time, ensure that you start by liking and subscribing to our channel. Of course, this is how we connect with African stories. We bring those stories next to your doorstep, and we ensure that we give you timely updates on what is taking place in our political world. So as you try to digest that, there's also something that I would want us to look at. There's something that is taking place in, I want to call it ODM. You saw yesterday through the governing council, the meeting that was held, they resolved that they have to suspend some MPs, that is Mark Nyamita was suspended for associating with the UDA, and they claim that she's being used by the ruling party to destabilize the ODM-led counties. And of course, you'll find that the ODM party say that they dissociate themselves with the Mark Nyamita. And the question that people are asking, well, why is it that there are only specific people who are allowed to interact with the ruling party? If that one was maybe the party leader, Raila Odinga, who we verily know that right now is having some good working relationships with the president, or he's going slow on the president. Why would he not allow the members of the political party also to do that, also to associate with the president? So I'll get you shortly. I'll be able to get you that clip where the officials of ODM made a decision that they are going to expel members whom they claimed. These members that they're expelling, they claim that these members were working close with UDA to destabilize the ODM party. I think I'll be able to get the clip there. Then I'll be able to play it for you so that you can be able to understand what is taking place. I'm sure I'll get it and I'll play it later. I just want to take you through what happened yesterday. Yeah, in this fertilizer scandal. I'm talking of this because today we had what is called a fertilizer summit that was attended by the president. By the time the president was attending this fertilizer summit, the impeachment process was also proceeding, whereby CS is accused of having
of no confidence to
approved
the minister.
supply of
It has consequences.
Look at this.
I would be keen to imagine how ambassadors will be dealing with it. Our good friends on high moral ground, the United States, the EU, of which we shall be appealing to them, that indeed the National Assembly has passed a vote of no confidence. In that alone, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And I think the minister has guts even to be here today. This motion is not about me. This motion is not about the National Assembly. I had some good friends in Meru saying we are targeted. No, we have very many good Merus, including my good friend, who is at times my lawyer. He's a good Meru. He's a good Meru. It's not about Merus. Merus are good people, and I want it to be understood in this committee. It is not about Kenya Kwanza. Honorable Chair, it's not about Azimio. It is Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi versus the Republic of Kenyan Farmers and Diaspora. I did indicate I come from a border town. Ugandans buy things from Kenya. Kenyans buy things from Uganda. My good sister would know this. Nahayo, the Iron Lady, would understand this. The Ugandans came and bought fertilizer from Kenya, subsidized. What should they do? What should they do? I have looked at the document submitted by my good friend Mithika Linturi, and it's nothing more than a love letter from a jilted lover. That these are grievous matters of national importance to be reduced to love matters. Ukiachwa achika. Achika. It is indeed unfair to keep dragging the good lady, my sister, Marianne, into these matters. She has a right kukukata, kukukubali. Allow her to proceed on with her life. Including the Honorable Chair, that it should be unfair that your private matters should keep coming up anytime serious matters are raised. The good lady should be left in peace because she has a life, she has a family, she has children, and she needs to move on. We shall speak. This is a select committee. We shall say that which we want to say and that which we think is important to this committee. I did indicate yesterday that very many people approached me to drop this motion. I refused. And in fact, I told one of them, I'm different from the Honorable Mithika Linturi. It should be understood, Honorable Chair, that the Honorable Mithika Linturi started a process such as this. This was going to be the second one in the new constitutional order. Had he been serious, he went ahead, he collected signatures, it was put on the order paper, his motion. What did he do? He went to Naivasha, was given money and love.
Yeah.
That indeed it is a demonstration.
Chair, I have a point of order.
Point of order by
Yes. We've made it very clear that any statements made by a witness, the sponsor, or the respondent must be substantiated. Allegations have been made about going to Naivasha, money being exchanged. Unfortunately, we do not have any substantiation on that. Let's not use this opportunity to malign one another. I think we should speak up and we have to welcome.
Honorable Chair, it is indeed in public. It is indeed in National Assembly records that a motion to impeach one Anne Waiguru appeared in the order paper. It is indeed in records of the courts. In the divorce case of the Honorable Franklin Mithika Linturi and Aldai Member of Parliament, Marianne Keitany, as to where the member.
Honorable Wamboka, I think you should limit yourself to the subject.
Well guided, Chair. But Madam Chair, I'm a serious Kenyan. I had to do this, and I have done this. Those who don't know, I'm defined by.
Yeah, guys, that is the move of the motion. The one who moved the motion to impeach the CS agriculture. So the question that Kenyans are asking themselves is that will Mithika Linturi be the first cabinet secretary to be impeached? That is in Parliament. So that is what we are waiting to see. Of course, if you did listen to him, he did even allude what was to happen some time back when there were some issues at the Ministry of, I think, Devolution that was being manned by Anne Waiguru, and an impeachment motion was supposed to be discussed. It was tabled, it was brought in Parliament by Linturi. But later on, you know what happened, that led to the fall of that motion. But currently, as it stands, the motion is being discussed and the committee is dealing with it. So they're going to give a report, their findings. If they do confirm all the allegations, then the CS will stand impeached. If they don't confirm the allegations, then we will say that the PS have survived and still remain to be in office unless the president decides to relieve him from duties. Something that is also possible. It do happen. The president can as well decide to relieve him from duties. So that is where all the Kenyans we are now putting their eyes, and they want to see what is going to happen. And of course, the farmers who did get the fake fertilizers or the substance fertilizers are also waiting for some justice to be done, because for this one to happen, it means that somebody somewhere had left on duties. Somebody somewhere did not do the right thing. So of course, when I'll be joined by the panelists here, we are going to weigh on that. We're going to discuss that, and we're going to see what is taking place. Apart from that, there's also something that I told you that is happening. That is, should I say happening or happened in Migori. of late, the political temperatures in Migori are really high. We see people, there are clashes almost everywhere in Migori, and the ODM party officials had to call a meeting so that they can be able to know what is happening. ODM, and you saw what happened yesterday. Of course, I'll be able to show you some of the recommendations that came from that. Expulsion of
So we do the group photo first. Yes. Where's Felix? I need the Honorable Masara next to me. Yes. Thank you, Excellency. So are you ready? We have a brief statement to make. You okay? Okay. So this is the Central Committee of the Orange Democratic Movement Party, which has had a meeting with its elected leaders from Migori County and Kisii County to get a brief following recent worrying incidents in the two counties. In attendance from Migori was the governor. You can see His Excellency Ochilo Ayacko is here, the woman representative, Honorable Fatuma Full Network. Senator Eddie Okech is here with us, the MP for Suna West, the Honorable Masara, the MP Suna East, Honorable Junet Mohammed. And from Kisii County, we have, yes, and we also have members of the county assembly from Migori as well. From Kisii County, we have members of parliament, the Honorable Kibagendi from Kitutu Chache South, the Honorable Barongo from Bomachoge, Borabu, and Honorable Sero, who's from Borabu in Nyamira, joined us as well. So what has emerged from the briefing is that there is a clear and calculated plan to use state power to destabilize ODM-run counties and constituencies in partnership with rogue members of the party, some who are the subject of ongoing disciplinary proceedings and who have since pledged allegiance to our opponents in the regime. Maybe we'll start afresh. Yes. So apologies to those who are watching us on the live stream. Some other members of the media have arrived. We just want them to be ready, and we'll take the statement from the top. Once I get a signal that those who have now come are okay to proceed, we can proceed. Emmanuel Joe, we can proceed? Okay. This is a press statement of a meeting of the Central Committee of the party. The Central Committee of the party has had a meeting with its elected members, leaders from Migori and Kisii counties to get a brief following recent worrying incidents in the two counties. In attendance from the county of Migori was the governor, Honorable Ochilo Ayacko, the women representative, Honorable Fatuma Full Network, the senator, the Honorable Eddie Okech, the member of parliament for Suna West, the Honorable Peter Masara, the MP Suna East, Honorable Junet Mohammed, and two MCAs from Migori as well. From Kisii, we have the Honorable Kibagendi from Kitutu Chache South, the Honorable Barongo from Bomachoge Borabu. Honorable Osero from Borabu in Nyamira was also present. What has emerged from the briefing is that there is a clear and calculated plan to use state power to destabilize ODM-run counties and constituencies in partnership with rogue members of the party, some subject to ongoing disciplinary proceedings, who have since pledged allegiance to the regime. The idea seems to be to utilize state force, particularly the police and provincial administration, to prop up the so-called rebels in an attempt to penetrate our strongholds. In Migori, police fired tear gas at mourners at a funeral on the 3rd of this month in Uriri sub-county at the direction of the area MP, Honorable Mark Nyamita. Honorable Nyamita was invited to today's meeting but did not attend. At this stage, the party wishes to fully dissociate itself from the Honorable Mark Nyamita. We have granted his wish to no longer be part of us and advise our members in Uriri and Migori generally that he is an agent of our opponents in the UDA with the assigned task of sowing confusion and discord within ODM. Honorable Nyamita does not speak for nor represent the party at any level, and we advise our members to view and treat him and all those who support him accordingly. In Bomachoge Borabu, UDA MPs, in a bid to undermine the area ODM MP, Honorable Barongo, brandished employment letters from the TSC and the Kenya Wildlife Service. These bad manners was started by none other than CS for Education, the Honorable Machogo. We cannot as a party think of a clearer example of abuse of power other than people walking around with employment letters for state appointments in funerals and in these unofficial events. What is most worrying to us and our supporters is that members of Azimio do not have a similar opportunity to also get those employment letters because they are issued exclusively to members of the UDA. There is also continued harassment of our leaders in Kisii, including the governor, members of parliament, and our supporters in Kisii by the police and provincial administration. The master puppeteer behind these schemes has been identified as none other than the PS for Internal Security, Raymond Omolo. The party wishes to condemn in the strongest terms this blatant abuse of police and state power to intimidate our people and prop up regime stooges in our strongholds. We will be lodging formal complaints to the relevant authorities in the next few days as regards the abuse of police power and the provincial administration. We want to also make it clear that as members of parliament from the Azimio coalition side, we will be seeking a position of this government on whether state appointments can be dished out in the manner in which they're being dished out by cabinet secretaries led by none other than CS for Education, the Honorable Machogu. So MPs, we will be summoning the CS to Parliament to explain to us where and how members of ODM can pick TSC employment letters. In the
I think one of the recommendations, no, not just recommendations, but the decisions they made in that meeting was to expel Nyamita. And you have to remember that Nyamita they claimed he was summoned in the meeting, but in a separate press, he said that he wasn't summoned. He was supposed to be part of that meeting, but the decision was made in his absence. But you all know how this one happens, because at the end of the day, once you've been expelled, people have to go to court, and the entire process will have to take place, because it's not easy to expel somebody from the political party, or maybe to recall them on the basis of being expelled. So, though the only thing is that it creates some bad blood with you and your supporters now that they've declared you an enemy. So I just want to take you, maybe so that you can be able to see some of the clashes of what happened on that day. Yeah, it gave it was a funeral that was attended by both the governor and Nyamita. And after some bitter exchange of words, maybe then is when the supporters decided to take it to the ground. So maybe you can watch this video shortly as you try to weigh on what might be the problem.
I want to condemn those shameless politicians who think that politics should be that of violence, and that the police are part of their local goons, and that they will intimidate anybody. Us, we are not intimidated by anybody. We are only intimidated by the fact that we have to be orderly people.
The security team of the governor not only shot at us, but they shot at the police vehicle. They shot at the police vehicle, almost injuring a police officer. The same security shot at our team, injured one of our staff.
Okay, that is Nyamita. I think you heard him. Everybody is blaming the other one, but now the question that people are asking, if they've been expelled on the basis of working with the ruling party, then right now even the party leader of the said party also maybe needs to expel himself. That is the question that I'll leave you with. Is it fair for Nyamita to be expelled on the basis of working with the ruling party? Because what Sifuna read is that they are using the ruling party to undermine the ODM governed counties, that is the Kisii and the Migori counties. So these are people, they say, the people who decided to work with the ruling party. So I don't know how that one can be interpreted, because right now it seems that the party leader is also working with the ruling party. So sorry, Paris, Washington, I think the video at the beginning didn't have a sound, so apologies for that. But the images were worth watching. But towards the end, we did manage to get the sound, because we wanted to get to hear from the governor and the MP, because they're the ones who are at the core of these chaos. But at the beginning, it didn't have sound, and even if it had sound, I think the voices and the noises were made in a language that maybe some of you might not be able to listen to, but at least they gave us an opportunity to look at the image and understand how chaotic it was. Uh, Apologies for that. Next time we're going to ensure that we have a video that is having some sound. So ensure that you like the video and share it with your friends. Paris, Washington. I do believe and hope that you've subscribed to our channel. If you've not done, then you can join the rest of the people who are joining me for the first time in subscribing to our channel, so that whenever we go live and do such kind of videos, you'll always be notified. Of course, tomorrow being Friday, we're also going to have some other programs. We do have this program called Bed of Roses. We'll have it tomorrow. Of course, on Saturday, we are going to have a political rap, a show that raps what takes place politically throughout the week. Among other programs that we have that will suit your viewership needs. Good year, good evening. Happy to see you. I hope you're doing well and you're safe from the floods. I know I've been missing for quite some time, but I'm okay. I'm safe. I've marked myself safe from the floods. All is well. We are looking at what is happening. You see, there's some expulsions that are taking place in the political parties. But as we look at things, for example, I don't know your take on this. Why would the ODM expel an MP for working with the ruling party, yet their party leader is also, I want to say, maybe formally, is informally working with the ruling party? Today, during the fertilizer and the soil summit that took place at the KICC, we did see that Azimio party leader Raila Odinga was among the top-notch leaders who attended this. After that, there was some lobbying that took place, and this one was led by His Excellency the President, whereby they are lobbying for the AU chairmanship. And I think yesterday you heard that the OIC, that is the Organization of Islamic Commission, which has got some members within the African countries, they endorsed the Somali candidate, the former foreign affairs minister. But this one changed. I think they changed their tune today, and it's good news. After the lobbying that took place today, Somalia have decided to throw in the towel and say that they are now supporting the Nairobi candidate, meaning they are now going to support the Kenyan candidate, that is Raila Odinga, for the position. And at least it's been a lot of things were said, and the people started speculating that it is because of the new party leader hitting hard on the government concerning the and apologize. You know, I don't know my internet, but the connection is not that perfect. But I'll try work on it. Uh, uh, Meanwhile, you can use the comment section and let me know how you're feeling. Let me know where you're joining me from, and maybe if you're having any query or you have something that you want to be brought forward, I'll of course read it here. So good day, saying that I hope you're safe, Leo. Please look. Yeah, I'm safe. I look after myself, and that is why uh, I will always ensure that I keep myself safe. Kimani, hello, Kimani. Karibu. I hope as you're joining me, you've subscribed to the channel and also invited one or shared with one or two people so that they can also be part of this. So whenever we are live, we'll always ensure that you guys are informed. So that is why it is important that you turn on the notification bell. I just want to take a short break of 1 minute, and I'll be back with the conversation. As I take a short break, is just to remind you that tomorrow, don't miss our bed of roses. That is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. You'll be there with our able host, MC Jesse, Maggie Knox, and Annie Waweru. They'll be there to bring you that wonderful program that I know most of you always wait for.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance. Presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
Yeah, don't fail, don't miss that program. Don't miss that program. And maybe just a reminder for those people who love eating fish. The advert that I've just shown you there, that is for Noel's worldwide fish deliveries. Noel, of course, you people, the ones who've been watching our Bed of Roses program, you'll always see her, Nelly. She's the one who supplies those fish. So you can get your tilapia in Washington. I can see Paris there. You can get your tilapia whether you are in Johannesburg, you are in Texas or wherever. So this thing, right from Lake Victoria to wherever you are. So if you are in need of fresh Lake Victoria fish, ensure that you get in touch with the Noel's Worldwide Fish Deliveries. The contacts are always there. So in that advert, I think the contact is there so that you can place your order. Goody, I don't know if you placed your order and did you receive it? I only got confirmation from Ellie who placed the order and received the fish and gave us some positive feedback. Of course, let me also take this opportunity to welcome Kimani. I'm glad seeing you on the comment section. This is a freak political talk show. We normally have this kind of talk show each and every day, whereby we just discuss and we connect you with the African stories. Apart from that, we're also having other shows, including the Freak Timber that comes on your screen every Saturday afternoon. We're having Bed of Roses, the one that you're going to watch tomorrow. We're having Dr. Chamba, of course. We are going to bring it on Monday. And of course, each and every day, we don't fail to analyze and update you with what is happening in the political sphere. Like today, I told you, we are not going to discuss much. We are not looking at much. Of course, we are just looking at Raila's AU bid has been boosted. This is after the lobbying that took place today, and this one saw Somalia throwing the towel and saying that we are now going to support the candidate from Nairobi. ODM also expelled the rebels. I don't know if I qualify to call them rebels, but the people were perceived to have rebelled and against the party, and they are working with the ruling party, which doesn't augur well with the leadership of the ODM. And despite the fact that their party leader is also working with the same party that they are accusing this gentleman of working with. And the schools are reopening on Monday, of course. There are some places that are still flooded. We are also having waterborne diseases. So far, I played for you about 48 of cases of cholera have been reported. That is in various places. I think it is in Tana River. Also, some places like Madare and Kibra slums. People are likely to have some cholera, but the good news is that doctors have resumed work, so at least these things will be mitigated well. And also not forgetting the impeachment process of CS Mintika Linturi for he is accused of approving the supply and distribution of substandard fertilizers. If you like, you can call them fake. the word fake doesn't sound well. So I think that with that and with many more, we're going to have a candid conversation. That is from tomorrow. Sorry, maybe most of the panelists that I do have, people having some technical challenges. And I'm also told that Nairobi is no longer a brighter city, but it's a darker city. We are having the Kenya power and lightning, Kenya powerless and darkness. And even today, they had to suspend the, how do you call it, the Senate sitting because there was no power in Senate. So most people are having some power challenges, but I know this will be resorted. So tomorrow, I want to promise you guys a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. Apologies from my co-host Boniface Kimanzi. I think he will not be able to join. And also my new panelist, I have Kevin Wasonga. He wasn't present, but these are some technical issues that will be sorted later on, and we'll be able to get a wonderful show. So keep on subscribing and following our Freak 24-hour TV, and you can also ensure that you visit our YouTube channel. There are a lot of videos, there are a lot of live shows that are recorded there. Whenever we go live, we record these shows and upload them in our YouTube channel. So whenever you go to the YouTube channel, you can always follow and just leave a message there. Leave a comment, like them, share them. That is the only thing. I'm not asking you for much. The only way you can support this program is by subscribing. And by the way, if I forgot to tell you, to subscribe is free. They don't charge you anything to subscribe to our channels. It is free to subscribe to our channels. So from this end, I just want to say thank you so much. I know it was short, but we'll have a longer discussion tomorrow. So stay safe, ensure that you don't get out, you don't travel when unnecessary, and you take care of yourself. We still need you to view these programs, not only today, we need you tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Our good dear is asking what happened with the paper reviews. Okay, I'm here to report you that we are going to resume the paper reviews from Monday. The problem is that, you know, we could not manage to have this night show, then again wake up in the morning and review the papers, and it would really be an insult to review the paper at noon. You know, at noon almost everybody have reviewed the paper, so magazeti inapata wameanza kufunga nayo nyama. So wacha nikuhakikishie kuwa ifikapo Jumatatu tutakuwa tumerejelea hicho kipindi na tutakuwa tunaweza kuzuru na pia tuweze kuwaeleza ni nini yepo kwenye magazeti. So our freak newspaper review will resume on Monday, inshallah. We'll have the newspaper review. To keep it here on Monday from 8 a.m. I'll personally be here to review the newspapers, and ensure that as you wake up when already you are connected with the stories, and already you know what is taking place, so that as you begin your day on a lighter note. Apologies for that. For the Dr. Shamba, we resumed. I hope you've been following. We've done so far 2 episodes. The only thing is that we changed it from Saturday. Now the Dr. Shamba, will be appearing 2 times, actually 4 times. It will be appearing 2 times a week. We'll be having Dr. Shamba on Monday and Thursday. East African time, we'll be having it at 3 p.m. and a repeat show will be done on the same day at 10 p.m. If not 10 p.m., then we'll have a repeat show after the political talk show. So keep it here. We'll ensure that you get all these programs. Of course, we're also having some other programs that we are going to bring on board. That is from next week. So a lot is coming on the way. Just keep on subscribing and inviting your friends, and tell them also to subscribe. So from this end, unless I don't know, I know there are no more questions, I'll just say goodbye. And for the ones who are in East Africa, I know it is nighttime, people are going to sleep. And from different places, I know there are ones who are waking up, some are coming from job. So karibuni nyumbani na mujihisi muko nyumbani. And for the fans